Hello, my name is Lucia and I'm the host of the podcast Why Learn Business English, the Art of Communication. LearnBusinessEnglish.net is the place to go to learn how to become an entrepreneur and for a comprehensive and engaging course for learning business English online. Today, I would like to introduce Gill who'll be telling us how to speak effectively on social media. She's a trainer and leadership coach at Resound Training in the UK. The company's corporate role players bring the spark that makes learning memorable. And Resound will be ideal for your leadership programs, assessment, and development centers. Today, so Gill, do you think social media has changed how we communicate? In what way?
Hi, Lucia. And first of all, thank you for the invitation to speak with you today. How has social media changed the way that we communicate? Well, I think it's much more aligned to spoken communication than the formal written communication that still happens in business. So social media, I see as more dynamic, more fluid, immediate, and doesn't have the constraints that our formal communication has.
It doesn't have the constraints. Do you think as a result of that, people have lost the art of communicating in business? Because
No.
they focused on social media, what do you think has changed?
Well, communication evolves, doesn't it? And social media has had a huge impact in the way that those changes have happened over the last few years. But I don't think we've lost the art. I would describe it as needing to learn a new art to actually communicate well and connect well on social media. And I think we've seen a loosening of some of the constraints that we have within formal settings, but we still do have those formal documents and artifacts within corporates, but there's a slight softening. I think the reason people are attracted to social media is because it's so immediate, it's visual, it's short. I think it has had an impact on attention spans. That might be the one thing which I think is perhaps concerning. It's a new art. So I think we all need to learn how to communicate well on social media, as well as the more traditional formats that we've had.
So you are saying that perhaps we don't communicate as well as we should on social media. So how do you think people should communicate?
Well, I think it's about learning to communicate, and what people seem to be looking for on social media is connection and authenticity. I was reading some research on AI avatars just this week, and what's so interesting about it in terms of learning is that they are only effective if the script that's running them includes all those vocal fillers and the ums and ahs and the mistakes and the way that we pause and think. That's when it makes a connection for people. Actually having avatars that speak perfectly does not resonate. And I found that so interesting because it says we're looking for real connection. We're looking for people to be themselves and authentic rather than totally perfect and polished. So the annual report, the written communication needs to be perfect and polished. But I think on social media, the opportunity there is to be more immediate, dynamic, as if you were speaking with a group, but really present with that group. And I think that's what people respond to.
And what you're saying is that if people have that reliance, it may not be as good. They may not get a connection with the audience.
Well, I think we need to learn how to work with AI to make AI effective. And I think that's happening. And I think it's going to happen quite fast. That the research that's already coming out of universities is focused on what works and what doesn't work in terms of AI. So I think that will come. But I think the really interesting thing is that we still want to feel that even an AI-driven avatar has those human attributes of not always getting it right first time, of needing to think, of the awkward pause. So it's about being human. And that's, that's really interesting, isn't it, when we start thinking about AI communication?
Well, it is particularly in longer if we want, and social media doesn't really allow for long form as such. Not
No,
really.
No, but YouTube, I suppose, is the bridge because now the long form video is the popular medium on YouTube and what gets traction. So
Do you
yeah,
think
it's
so?
interesting.
Are you saying that perhaps YouTube might be better than other social media platforms, or is there anything that?
I think it's a great place for learning. I mean, obviously, everything is on YouTube, so you have to be discerning and search and use your time wisely. But if you want to learn anything, it's all there, isn't it? So, and it's free. So why wouldn't you use it? You know, so I think a combination of YouTube and ChatGPT and the other AI tools has really opened up lots of knowledge and learning for everyone. So it has completely democratized learning.
What about things like Instagram and Pictogram, and which you don't hear about much? Do you
No.
think there are others that are quite good or not? LinkedIn?
Well, Instagram, of course, is really visual, isn't it? It's completely based around the visual elements and that immediate connection. I think Instagram is a great place if you're selling product because it really shows off product really well. It's a great place for charismatic influencers to showcase themselves, their personalities, and what they're interested in. LinkedIn is the space I go to for business because obviously all businesses are on LinkedIn, and that still has a slightly more formal feel to it than other social media platforms,
Mhm.
but people are still looking for authenticity, and you can spot AI written content. You can spot when, you know, people are just putting a post out to put a post out rather than to add some sort of meaningful content or opinion. So I
So
think with
again, I mean, you mentioned AI.
yeah, yeah.
So it seems that again there's a alliance even in the written word. Is that the case?
Absolutely. Of course, because people are going to AI for information in the same way that we used to just put a search into Google. So I think AI has taken over from what we would have done and gone to Google for search. So yeah, and but there is this. I would sound a note of caution around using AI for social media. I mean, it can be a useful starting place, but you still need to have your own voice. And that's the difference between social media and the formal corporate communication that still exists. Social media is about your developing your own voice, whereas the corporate formal annual report is about understanding the corporate voice,
So
and it's
there's a
written in the
difference
corporate
between
voice.
branding, the personal branding, and the corporate branding.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
What?
unless you're a
Yeah.
small business owner like me and the two are the same,
Mm.
because my voice is the business voice, and actually you need to train AI to understand your voice, and then it can be more helpful to you. But if you're in a corporate communications role, you need to understand the corporate voice, don't you?
Now, in my case, I'm a financial journalist and I'm involved in mainstream media, although I use social media for a lot of things now. Do you think more people are likely to get the news from social media or from mainstream media? Do you have any idea? What do you think? I'm not sure.
I'm sure that a lot of people, especially older people, would go to platforms like the BBC, CNN, for news.
Well, I do.
They will, yeah, yeah, and I do as well. But I think younger people will be on social media and pick up news stories there. But then all the main platforms are on social media, aren't they? I think
But
the thing that's
mm,
going to die out very soon is the on television you still have this slot, don't you, the 10 o'clock news. This is what we have in the UK. We have the 10 o'clock news
yeah.
on different channels, or the 6 o'clock news, and I think that is at risk. I think that will go because we don't need to sit and wait like we when I was growing up. My parents always sat down to watch the news on the television because that's the way they got their news. But we
Mm.
don't need to wait now, do we? It's immediate, it's instant. We can find out what's going on across the world at any time of the day or night.
Well,
So,
I'm in New
that,
Zealand, as you know, and they've got rid of the
mm,
10 o'clock news here.
well,
So
there we go.
there's, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
so that's a perfect example. That's just
Yeah,
not. And there's one channel that's they completely did away with everything. There's
right.
only one channel that you get really news from, apart.
I think there's a big question mark is the trust, isn't it? Where do you go that you trust for news? So that's the big question mark, isn't it?
Well, I think that's what's going. That's the big question.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I think
exactly.
lots of people think they don't believe social media, but they believe it more than news. But I know that the news is all sourced. It has to be. There are some
Mm,
legal issues.
mm.
But most
Mm.
people don't know about the legal issues that news has to go to achieve that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know how you can do that. You can't everything just because people believe something on social media doesn't necessarily mean that it's correct.
Yes, and there's a lot of opinions on social media, and we have to be able to separate out opinions from facts, don't we? So there is some discernment needed, some skill in identifying whether this is just what somebody thinks and has got a big audience they've built around it from reliable sources, as you mentioned.
So do you think there is a way of communicating on social media? There is a good way of communicating, given, the plethora of platforms and
I think you have to choose your platform and then you have to think about your voice being authentic and matching that to the right platform. So
so
if
you're
you're
saying
interested
every
in,
platform you have to be different. You have to write
no, I
differently
think
for
you
each
have to,
platform?
I would flip that and say, choose your platform first. You don't have to be on all platforms. Choose the
Mm.
platform that's right for you, right for your business, and develop your authentic voice for that platform.
Well, that's it. Thank you very much, Jill, for your views on social media today, and we'll see how, things develop. Things are changing on social media so quickly. We simply
Yes,
don't
yeah,
know what's
true.
going to happen.
Thank you, Lucy. It's been brilliant. Really enjoyed
Okay.
it.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Right, right.